grandmother, late Josephine Mandamin, grandmother, she understood that whole, it became a movement. That isn't what she was trying to do. What she was doing was, um, I guess I would say as an academic, she was enacting Anishinaabe law and asserting our jurisdiction, sovereignty, governance in terms of how are we going to take care of the Great Lakes, right? But it was also, it was most of it motivated by love for the waters and for future generations, and realizing responsibilities. So being able to activate our own responsibilities. I also like the way that Hannah talked about this because, and I hadn't thought about it this way, so I really appreciate this, Hannah, is understanding our function, like what is our role and responsibility in this bigger picture, like what is that, and that's huge to answer. So in some ways those water walks enable that to happen. So she didn't, she always made it very clear that she didn't do it because, like, her, that activism, if you want to call it that, or advocacy, didn't happen because she was mad at the government of the day. Didn't have anything to do with that. It had to do with, these are the obligation responsibilities to care for water. And people would talk about it, but they wouldn't actually kind of do anything about it. So literally she wanted to walk the talk. The so, and she wanted to heal the waters. Like she wanted to, like, to do to sing the songs, to do the ceremonies, to try to listen to what the water had to say. Because as I said before, and Hannah's pointed out, they have their own intelligence, they hold knowledge, but they also hold trauma. And so humans have been engaging in injustice in relation to water itself by contaminating, not allowing water to live its own roles and responsibilities, which is ultimately to give life, not just to people, but to the plants, to aquatic life, to the fish. So we interfere with all of that, and we actually don't have the right to do that. Um, and so, so that's what she was. That's what she was doing. Like the core of it was based on starting with spirit. It was spiritual direction as part of ceremony, where a lot of that direction came from, and also born out of love. It wasn't born out of, I hate the Harper government today. Like, it wasn't like, that wasn't the motivating factor for what she did. The I think you're right. Like walking is actually a methodology, right? Like I actually get my students to actually go outside and walk, and they're like, I don't get, like, why are we doing this, right? And so I go, it's a thing, it's a real thing. And so one of the things that people can enact in, because when you're acting like water when you're moving, because if water will find a way. Like you're that's what water does, right? You can experiment with this, like pour water and put a barrier, and it's going to kind of find a way. So you're kind of acting like water when you're moving, when you're walking, because one of the natural laws around water is water must flow. It's moving, constantly moving. So one of the things you can work with, like that little turtle water walk that we did with the kids. Josephine was there. She was giving the teachings to children that young, is that they actually know where the water comes from. So anybody can do this, like walk from where you are to where the actual source of the water is, whether it's in the city, like I could do this in Toronto. It's probably about a 15-kilometer walk for me to go to the source, but there's ways to kind of build that connection wherever you are.